Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, The School of Love. My name is Maria and I am helping people discover their inner potential for love towards oneself and towards the others. Today I am inviting you to a new episode from the series Things I Wish I Knew When I Was Younger. In this series I elaborate on various topics and divide their explanation on 5 levels, which I hope it makes it easier for you to perceive and process this phenomena, allowing you in turn to cope with them easier in your everyday life. In today's video, I will talk about the phenomenon of overthinking, what is overthinking and how to heal it so that you turn it from a rather self-consuming feature, characteristic, into an empowering phenomenon. So let's get started. So what is overthinking? Overthinking is that activity of ruminating over things, of thinking again and again about events, about probable or possible outcomes, and playing, essentially staying stuck in your head, where you play again and again various scenarios, either related to past events or to future events, which may or may not occur, or may not be possible or probable. This happens sometimes as within or as a side effect of dissociation, which is again one of those very nefarious habits of people who have been repeatedly traumatized in their formative years, childhood or adolescence, and who have not yet found the opportunity or the ability or the environment to address those issues and eventually or subsequently to heal them. So what can we do in order to find healthy ways to cope with overthinking? As always, the first step is awareness. So the first step is becoming aware of your proclivity to overthinking, to playing in your head again and again various scenarios, either related to past events, as I said, or to the future, which takes you away from the present moment. So awareness is a very important element, and there are authors who say that awareness, becoming self-aware of your patterns, is more than 95% of the healing process, and I adhere to these visions. So the most important and the first step and the most important step in towards healing is becoming aware of your patterns. The second step is identifying the trigger. So why exactly am I overthinking? What is it that I am obsessing about? What exactly makes the object or the person or the activity both attractive and toxic, so that I cannot take my thoughts away from them, which then automatically leads to overthinking. So, and then why exactly can't I avoid or soothe those thoughts, those recurring thoughts, and then move on with it? So if you start to think about them, you realize that these recurrent thoughts are in themselves some sort of triggers, and then they have a compound effect on your mental energy and emotional energy, and they essentially drain your thinking and feeling power and do not allow other things to come in, which then leads to the third point: identify the payoff. identify the reward. What exactly are you getting in terms like a sort of positive reinforcement, positive validation, positive confirmation? What exactly emerges in something? It's toxic, but it's at the same time positive. It confirms something within you. What exactly emerges from overthinking on that activity, person, object, emotion, whatever? Because this is what gives you the motivation to keep on overthinking, to keep on obsessing, to keep on going with the same cycle, self-destructive, essentially self-destructive cycle of thinking, more thinking, more thinking, even more thinking, and so on. So it is very important to identify the pattern. You will see there is always, usually the trigger is to get away from some sort of unpleasant present, or present which comes across as unpleasant, or present which doesn't validate or confirm you. It's overthinking, so playing repeatedly scenarios in your head always relates to the past or to the future and take you away from the present. If you once you have identified the trigger and then you have identified the payoff, the next step is to let go of that payoff, and because you cannot just let go of it, because the vacuum which emerges from removing something from your life automatically will, if you do not have a healthy coping mechanism to deal with those triggers, they will stay there. You have that vacuum will be filled in very quickly with something similar, with something which feels similarly familiar, and then you repeat the same story with different actors or different activities or with different objects. So it is very important, once you have identified the trigger, once you have identified the payoff, then to find a healthy way to cope both with the trigger and with the payoff. And let's say you are obsessing over an ex. The best way to, they say the best way to get over an ex is to get a new relationship. This is, again, toxic in itself, because we're essentially projecting onto someone else things we don't want to process ourselves, and it is also very unfair towards the person we are involving into our emotional and mental mess, just not to be focused on the other one. So it's not about finding another partner. It's more about finding ways in which we can be happy and fulfilled with ourselves, by ourselves. I'm not endorsing loneliness. I am talking about finding a healthy way to be happy by yourself. It's about finding a way of enjoying solitude, of being with yourself, of immersing yourself into the present moment, even if it is go for a walk, go for a run, go jogging, go to a movie maybe which you already know. Sometimes most people recommend not to watch repeatedly the same movie. I find comfort in watching the same movie because I know how it ends, I know how it goes forward, but I can focus on the details which I missed while watching the movie previous times. So suddenly I discover elements in the fashion wearing by the characters, in the way they talk to each other, the hairstyles, the makeup, the camera angles, and so on. So I can focus, and this is very important. Because I know the plot, I know the outcome, I know the denouement. I can focus on the details which build up that movie. Or I listen to music I already know, but then I can focus on the details of the music. This is a healthy way to cope with triggers and payoffs. Is find ways to anchor yourself in the present, to ground yourself. Another healthy way is to do the dishes, or to do some laundry and then to hang up the laundry. or spend time with your family, but in a way which forces you to be present, regardless of what this being present actually means. So it's essentially look proactively at more memories, at those memories, the place, and ground yourself in the present instead of running away from it. And the last step is something people do not really talk about, it, other people do not really talk about, but it is be grateful for that experience which forced you to overthink. Be grateful, embrace it. Say, so practice radical acceptance. Say thank you for allowing me, or for bringing me to the position where by having this experience I actually became a better human. Because you'll notice, you'll develop skills to cope with those triggers, to cope with those payoffs, and those skills will allow you to anchor yourself more in the present while looking forward to the future and accepting the present. This is very important. It's very important to have this holistic view of time and of one's existence, so that we develop gratitude for the future regardless of how traumatizing it was. We anchor ourselves in the present and then look forward to co-creating to the future, to becoming those who bring the future into being. So this would be for today. Thank you for listening to me, and I'm looking forward to talking to you very soon again. Love and peace to you all.